Run!
Bigfoot!
What is that? Oh, there's something behind me.
Make sure everybody's with us. Everybody here? Yep.
On November 15th, 2024, a post surfaced in a Rocky Mountain Sasquatch group detailing a terrifying Bigfoot report from 3 years before. The event happened at a mobile home park near Mount Shasta, California, where the witness said a Bigfoot shook her trailer, growled through the window, and struck the walls across 2 consecutive nights. After stepping outside later, she saw glowing eyes staring from the dark. Her companion later spotted a tall, shadowy figure moving nearby. Some argued it may have been a bear, but the low growl and dark outline did not match typical bear behavior. The area is known for strange sounds, and Mount Shasta has a long record of Bigfoot sightings. Could this have been a real encounter? While exploring West Virginia's New River Gorge, Owen found a massive rock formation that from far away looked more like a built structure than a natural mountain. It blended into the landscape, but up close, its shapes and markings seemed strangely symmetrical. One area even resembled a giant doorway cut deeply into the stone. Making it more mysterious were large, deep footprints spread across the surface. Some think it is natural erosion, while others still wonder whether something enormous once existed there. A camper's trail camera set far inside a remote forest, well away from any nearby town, managed to record something deeply disturbing. The footage shows a pale, human-like figure standing completely still and staring straight into the camera while making strange, unnatural noises. Online reactions were split, with some believing the clip was real while others felt it was staged. This disturbing clip, posted on September 30th, 2024, included a caption saying Bigfoot had been spotted hiding inside an abandoned building. The footage raises unsettling questions. Why would a creature like that move through a collapsing structure? And was it using the site as secret shelter? With no extra context, its authenticity cannot be verified, yet it remains chilling as possible evidence. One night while walking home, a person started hearing strange noises near an old fort-like structure in an empty field. As they recorded while passing a single pillar, they noticed a humanoid figure crouching in the dark. It appeared to cover its face, but then its eyes suddenly fixed on the camera. In that fearful moment, both seemed to react. The figure looked prepared to spring forward, and the person panicked, stopped recording, and ran. Whatever it was, or whether it was real, remains uncertain, but meeting it alone at night would be terrifying. This man was walking through the forest when he suddenly discovered something alarming. A huge creature rose over the brush, its shape clearly massive, with broad shoulders, long, powerful arms, and a steady, purposeful stride moving between the trees. The sight was unsettling enough to make anyone stop cold. With a body that large and that kind of posture, many have asked the same question: could this have been a real encounter with something genuine? Back in 2008, a group of campers were filming their boating trip along Oregon's Upper Mackenzie River. Everything seemed completely ordinary at the time, but later when they watched the footage, they noticed something unsettling hidden in the background, something none of them had seen in person. The video is shaky because of the fast-moving current, but if you pause and study the left side of the frame, a large brown figure can be seen standing among the bushes. What makes it even more disturbing is that this exact stretch of river has been the site of several reported Bigfoot sightings over the years. Reddit user Waldenville shared this clip, and what it recorded feels deeply disturbing. A terrifying scream rang through a remote Canadian forest, making many viewers wonder whether it might be linked to Bigfoot. Whatever made that noise seemed hidden somewhere in the darkness of an otherwise calm and quiet wilderness. On November 12, 2024, a strange discovery was reported within the thick forests of South Garo Hills, Meghalaya, India. Two large, worn footprints were found, embedded in separate moss-covered stones beside a riverbank. The marks looked ancient, deeply eroded, and firmly imprinted, suggesting they had stayed there for a very long time. The discovery drew attention locally and overseas because the prints resembled those linked to the Mundurong, a creature from regional legend. The Mundurong is described as a large, hairy, two-legged humanoid, similar to Bigfoot, believed to roam the subtropical forests of the Garo Hills, where the footprints appeared. A solo hiker had gone far into the wild, enjoying the quiet and losing track of time. After hours on the trail, he reached a thick stand of pine trees and heard heavy rustling, something big forcing its way through the brush. Thinking it was a large animal, he took out his phone to record. But what showed up on camera was far more disturbing. This was not an ordinary creature at all. What do you think? A group of children were exploring a silent forest trail when their outing suddenly became terrifying.
Run, run, run!
A huge figure abruptly appeared near the tree line and rushed toward them at full speed, giving no warning and displaying pure aggression. The footage shows the kids panicking as they run away, screaming in fear. The creature looks enormous, bipedal, and clearly territorial. In that moment, getting away was the only smart decision, because when something that large charges at you, survival matters much more than capturing the perfect shot. This clip shows a 28-year-old man from Pennsylvania who went for an evening walk with his dog in the Appalachian Mountains. Suddenly, he heard unusual noises, and his off-leash dog became scared and ran into the woods toward the sound. The man searched for 2 hours but could not find it, and eventually recorded this video. He got back home unharmed, but the dog was never found. What the footage truly captured remains unclear. Jordan and his friend were investigating an abandoned resort in the Catskills, New York, a location known for ghost reports and strange activity. After entering the atmosphere, instantly felt off.
Hello? Yo, nah. Wait. Look at
They spotted what appeared to be a mannequin, but as they got closer, it seemed to move slightly. Moments later, distinct footsteps echoed from outside, making it clear they were not alone. With the resort's dark history and rumored mafia connections, they quickly chose to leave since some places carry too much history and too many unanswered questions to risk staying any longer. A Reddit user looking for a cave in a forested area of Middle Tennessee ended up discovering strange marks in the mud. The prints were small, nearly child-sized, with toes pressed deep into the ground as though gripping during each step. Many viewers thought they looked much too human to come from any normal animal. Although the discovery proved nothing, it certainly raised curiosity, with some even questioning whether the tracks could belong to a young Bigfoot. On November 2nd, 2024, Trent the Traveler films a solo van life journey through the isolated forests of Oregon and Washington in the Pacific Northwest. Known for cinematic travel and wilderness exploration, the channel moves into terrain long linked to Sasquatch reports. Rain-covered trees, heavy silence, and distance from civilization create an atmosphere that seems calm at first, yet quietly unnerving.
This story about Ape Canyon is one of the more popular stories here in the Pacific Northwest. And this actually happened right up the road from here at Mount St. Helens. But essentially the way the story goes, in the early 1900s, there was a group of miners and they set up camp. And throughout their stay in this forest, they started hearing some weird noises in the forest at night, like whistles from nearby ridgetops, low thumping sounds coming from off in the distance. And then one night when two of the miners went out to go get some water, they noticed a 7 to 8 foot tall creature peeking out from behind a tree looking directly at them. And they shot at it and the creature ran away. And this happened for several nights till one night around 11 p.m. something hit the cabin so hard that it took out an entire chunk of wood out of the wall of the cabin. And then when the men looked out that hole, they saw several creatures standing outside being illuminated by the moonlight. Those creatures then climbed on the rooftop and began pounding on it, trying to get in. The cabin door was shaking violently and they had to barricade it shut to keep them out. And then the cabin walls and the roof began to get hit by boulders that these creatures were throwing at it. And then the men began firing their guns at the walls and the ceilings to try to get these creatures, or whatever these things were, to get away from their camp. And this attack happened all throughout the night. And then in the morning, as things settled down and these creatures finally ran away, the men got out of the cabin, walked around their camp, and they noticed these giant footprints surrounding their entire cabin. And after that whole experience, they packed up all their things and got out of there.
Trent starts by gathering background at the National Bigfoot Center, where decades of sightings and recorded accounts suggest a long-standing pattern connected to the region. These stories do not prove anything with certainty, but they stay with him as he leaves populated places behind.
All right, I decided to start today off with a hike through the remote wilderness, and I specifically chose a trail that isn't very popular. And the reason I did that is because if the rumors are true, Sasquatch sightings and encounters are extremely rare, which is why they've been a mystery for centuries. And I think because of that, it's safe to assume that, like any other animals, they don't really want anything to do with us humans. So with me being in a more remote area on a less traveled trail, I feel like the likelihood of me having some sort of encounter, whether it's finding a footprint in the ground, hearing a sound off in the distance, is a lot more likely than if I were in a more popular area. And this trail doesn't really have a specific destination, so I'm just hiking for miles until my heart tells me to stop. And if I encounter something on the way, I'll try to capture it the best I can.
As he pushes farther into the wilderness, the setting slowly begins to change. While walking remote trails, Trent describes the forest as strangely quiet, no wind, no birds, and no distant movement, a stillness that lasts just long enough to feel unnatural.
This might be the prettiest forest I have ever seen in my entire life. Look at the floor of the forest right here. Looks like a big old carpet. I just want to roll in it. And then all of these massive tree stumps. Oh, I think this is the black mass that I saw from the trail. Wow. Look at how big this thing is. Millie, come here. Look how big this tree is. Or was. Oh my gosh, look how massive that stump is. That's the biggest one I've ever seen. I don't know if the camera's gonna pick that up, but look how wet this tree is. It's just drenched, it's soaked, and moisture is just pouring out when I squeeze the bark. And it looks like something might be living in there. Perfect spot for, honestly, a pretty big animal. So I'm not gonna get too close to that, because who knows what lives in there. Now that's a big tree. Look at this thing, man. This is a massive, massive tree. Oh my gosh. And it goes way up there.
Large, hollowed-out tree stumps and thick terrain appear along the way, showing how easily something big could remain hidden. Later, Trent meets Shane from the Olympic Project, who plays audio recordings captured in secluded forest locations.
So I am currently on my way to go meet someone very interesting. This is a man named Shane who has basically dedicated his entire life to uncovering the mystery of Sasquatch here in the Pacific Northwest. And Shane co-runs a project in Washington called the Olympic Project, which is basically a group of people just like Shane who have come together with hopes to one day prove the existence of Sasquatch. Wow. This is the headquarters, huh?
This is the Olympic Project headquarters. This is our main hub, our main research area. The Olympic Project basically is a group of Sasquatch researchers, enthusiasts, and some individuals from academia that come together to research the Sasquatch topic. We're about collecting as much data as we can on something that most of us know to exist. But what we have here is a collection of casts. Not all of these are Olympic Project casts. Some of these are, in fact, other researchers and investigators that have collected them over the years. Some of these are more well-known than others. We have Littlefoot here, which was casted up near Mount Rainier in the month of October during snow. This is what we, be an infant, which was found alongside some 14-inch tracks, but there was only one. So that's, one example of a really unique impression casted.
So, again, you found this just like in the middle of the forest. So alone, like having a baby foot imprint in the middle of the forest, whether it's Sasquatch or not, that's strange.
It is strange. Let me show you something else. We were led to an area in the Olympic private timberland that a timber surveyor, 27 years in the business, he came across these ground nests, and they're profound. We found 24 to date. They range in size from 3 feet across to 9 feet across, all made out of huckleberry. Evergreen huckleberry, and they're bathtub shaped. They're not a perfect circle, and they're also multiple in an area. They're very strategically placed. They were kind of in a V formation above a salmon-bearing creek, seasonal salmon-bearing creek, but the hair we pulled from these is primate hair.
So how often do you come here?
As much as possible.
Yeah?
I try to get out here as much as possible. So,
how far away do you live from this building or this property?
I live 2.5 hours away from this building here. And this is not our only area of interest. We have multiple areas, about 3 to be exact. Some down in southwestern Washington, a couple up here in the Olympics.
So from what I've gathered, you specifically got this location because there was an influx in sightings or reports of Sasquatch in this area?
Absolutely. So this area purchased back in 2009, and there was multiple roadside crossing along this road here and one directly on this property.
Wait, this is a sound? Is this something you guys have recorded?
Yeah.
That's a really haunting sound.
And we have no wolves up here in the Olympics, so.
I'm actually getting chills just hearing that. Like, that's a very, very scary noise. I can't imagine hearing that like out in the middle of the woods when you're alone.
It'll raise the hair on your arms.
It sounds like they're singing.
The backstory with these particular recordings here, and I use these for presentation, they were all recorded of February of 2020, from March through April. We placed recorders in this area because of a brand new nest we had come across. We came across something building a nest. We put the audio out there, and these are just some of the caps we got from that general area.
The long, unfamiliar vocal sounds do not match known wildlife, and even outside the forest, the recordings remain unsettling.
Well, I think this is home for the night. I drove for probably an hour or so, and I found this old forest road that kind of dead ends right here. And it seems like a pretty perfect spot to call camp for the night. We got a nice fire pit right here that someone made, and we are surrounded by this spooky looking rainforest. There's not a lot of light that penetrates through these dense forests, so you can't really see past 100 feet into the forest wall here. And while it's definitely really pretty, it's also really spooky. I realized that Sasquatch to a lot of people is just a mysterious primate that lives in our forests that isn't really recognized by the scientific community. And something I learned just recently really flipped this whole thing around for me and made me start questioning, could the legend of Sasquatch have some validity to it? And that, of course, is the story of this mysterious beast that was rumored to exist for centuries. But no one believed anyone that encountered this beast because they didn't have undeniable proof that it existed. And here comes the rain. But I'm not done with my story. Until one day, someone captured this beast and they brought it back to civilization to prove its existence. And that beast is, of course, a gorilla. And up until just about 200 years ago, These gorillas were legit seen as like mythical creatures in the same category as like the Yeti or Sasquatch. And now we know it exists. And I think that little fact sort of adds some validity to the whole Sasquatch situation, at least for me, because I think that proves that as much as we think we know everything about the world around us, that's much better. I put a little light over there since this fire is struggling tonight, but dinner is served. Cheers. You can never go wrong with just some Velveeta mac and cheese. Yes, I'm a 30-year-old man eating nothing but Velveeta mac and cheese for dinner. No veggies, just raw dog in the mac, and I'm not ashamed of it because it's delicious.
That night, Trent makes camp at the end of a forest road. Rain falls steadily as darkness gathers around the van. The isolation feels total, as though the silence around him is keeping something just out of reach. Viewers point out that silence, unfamiliar sounds, and shared unease repeat across many unrelated wilderness experiences. By morning, Trent leaves with no answers, only a sharper awareness of how much the wilderness can hide. If fear appears before anything is seen, what is it about these forests that triggers it? On June 17, 2025, Mo Sargi goes into a secluded forest and cemetery in South Carolina for his channel, which is known for cryptid searches and paranormal investigations. What begins as normal filming soon feels wrong as small disturbances seem to follow him with every step farther into the woods.
Whoa, what the hell? These are the big, these aren't dog. That's not a dog print. Look how big that is. That is like a freaking mountain lion print. That's crazy. And that's going towards us over there. We got my RV and Rick's car over there too. I'm seeing more of these prints going this way, heading towards the actual cemetery. Yeah, look at that. We got more of them right here. So there isn't any cell phone reception here, but I'm still connected to the Wi-Fi from my RV. We have a Starlink in there. Let me see if there's any wild animals out here. So this area called the McCormick State Park, it's inhabited by venomous snakes. There's coyotes, foxes. There have been 2 sightings of mountain lions in this area in the last few years. And bobcats as well. Just to show you guys, I got no cell phone reception. I'm barely clinging onto the Wi-Fi from my RV. Once I get past that Wi-Fi range, I won't have any more phone use. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I don't know what the hell that was, but that did not sound friendly. It was super loud, and it was like it sounded like something dying. So I'm at the cemetery by myself now. I'm gonna go in there. There's such an eerie vibe here though. Thought I just heard someone talk. Hello? Anyone here? Yo, I could swear I heard somebody talking just now. All right, so here's the plan. I'm gonna get some drone shots. The whole point of me coming back here right now is to get drone shots, fly my drone, see if I can spot anything with it. That's very similar to the noise that I heard when I was up the road. What the hell was that? That came from down there. It's like something kind of growled at me, and then I heard some like sticks.
From his first moments inside the forest, Mo starts noticing strange markings across the ground. That uneasy feeling follows him to a nearby cemetery where something unexplained happens while he is recording with a drone.
Yo, that water looks so murky. That's like the perfect spot for a Bigfoot. Now, I heard some noises coming from this area over here, down by the bank. That's where those birds got scared from. So let's go see if we can find anything over there. Oh shit, my battery's about to die. There's no way. Just to show you guys where I am right now. Literally in the middle of nowhere. Absolutely nothing around us. No homes, no civilization, nothing.
Critically low battery warning.
Okay, I get it. Maybe it's the cemetery. I wonder if it's the cemetery, if there's something paranormal drawing power from this thing. Well, there goes my drone. My drone just fell out of the sky. My battery literally just died. Like I had a full battery, like it was a freshly charged battery. Wait a second, I have more batteries. Yo, guys, I can't make this up. Look at this. All my batteries, I'm holding the button here, 1 bar on each battery. This whole charger pack was on the charge all day today and it was full. Dude, like literally 1 bar on this damn thing. Okay, something's moving, something big is moving over there. Yo, dude, there was something massive over there. I filmed it all. Like massive. I left my bag there, my drone, my phone, everything is there. I'm filming in the cemetery trying to fly a drone and it sounded like something was coming at me and there was a loud growl. And then all of a sudden, all these birds just start dispersing, going crazy. And I got it on camera. You guys need to come back with me. Like this is legit shit. Hey, where's my backpack? Oh, dude, it was on the wall. My drone was on the wall too. It's not there right now. My bag is on the ground, dude.
Wait, this is where you left your bag?
I left it on the wall. Oh no. Oh no, what the hell? Dude, my drone was on the wall. Something touched my stuff. Okay, I'm gonna grab my stuff. Dude, something knocked my drone down off the wall.
Bro, something is down by the water.
Hurry up, hurry up.
Hurry up.
I'm not sticking around to find out.
Wait a sec. Dude, my phone.
Wait, you don't have your phone?
No, it was here. I left it here. No. Dude, my phone was here on the wall. Yo, it's broken.
It looks broken, bro.
What you heard just now was big. That was behind you. Is it broken? No, it's not broken.
Hey, y'all want to go by the water and go check?
Yeah, let's go check.
Yeah, let's go check by that water. There's absolutely nothing here whatsoever. At all.
You know what the weird thing is?
What?
Frogs aren't making noises anymore. So something did disturb it.
I wonder if they know that we're here. There's nothing, just no animals.
Although it is fully charged, the drone suddenly loses power, spinning out of control before falling straight into the woods because of a sudden battery failure. While looking for the device, Mo unexpectedly hears movement behind him. The tension rises immediately. Then, without warning, a sharp crack rings out nearby, like a heavy branch breaking under tremendous force. Fear takes over. Mo runs, abandoning all of his equipment behind. When he comes back to the area with his friends, the scene is different. The gear he left behind is no longer in the same place, but spread out and disturbed as though something touched it after he escaped. With no clear logical answer, the group decides to continue the investigation. At night, a choice they do not expect will lead to an even darker chain of events.
Welcome. I hope that's Bigfoot hunting equipment you got there.
Yes, it is.
Originally was a creek burial ground, right?
Indian,
Native American. This whole, they bury their dead in a mound. They create a mound in centuries. And
Oh, something just touched. Do I have a boat on my back?
no.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, honey, but something just touched me on the back.
Uh-oh.
I thought it was real because it felt like a hand just came up right here, touched me right there.
Right on her back.
Wait.
What?
You're kidding me, right?
What?
Something literally touched me right here.
Seriously?
Yeah. And it felt like that.
I've got a phone in my hand and I've got my camera. It wasn't me. And they're all over here.
Nobody behind
And
me.
he's-
You're
My hands
standing.
are tied up, bro.
You're not playing with me, right?
I mean, I love you and everything, but I didn't touch you.
Okay.
Oh, you are getting something.
It's like my-
Oh, that's like, so whenever you have it spiking, it means there's something, like some energy here that's causing that spike.
Anybody got a
EMF,
phone on
electromagnetic
her? She's way
frequency.
over there. If I do this,
You're far away
see-
from all of
Look
us
here,
right now.
example.
See, that's.
Because it's on.
But look,
You've never done ghost hunting, have you?
Not like this.
and here I sit on top of somebody's body. I'm being.
Well, I mean, it's a piece of rock. They're underneath. They're long
Am I
gone.
upsetting you by sitting on you like this? I'm trying to be close to you, actually. I'm trying to talk to you. I'm going to give you some energy in just a second. We're going to put the medicine wheel on you. Hear me. Because you have heard every word ever spoken. Come to us tonight.
We went from Bigfoot hunting to ghost hunting.
Yeah.
I love it.
Could you ask some of the others that are here if they'd like to come to the circle and talk to us? Did you see a tall, furry creature here? Have you seen something that looks like a furry man? Because we saw it here. I'm going to give you a lot of time. She has. Did you see that?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Holy wow.
So it did happen here.
So that means she's here with us?
Yeah.
Can you ask if we can meet the hairy man?
Are you friends with the hairy man or woman? Hairy being? No, she's not. Oh, she is. She is. Okay.
All right.
You go ask the hairy creature to come here. Is that the ogre that's supposed to guard you? It is. Oh, shoot. Mo, did you see that?
I got that on camera, yeah.
Will we be safe if he comes here? Yeah, maybe. I don't like maybes.
There they are.
She's not here. She said she was going to get the thing.
What was that sound?
Should we go to the water?
Huh?
Should we go to the water?
Sure.
What happened?
I don't know. Something's going on in the camp.
What happened?
Dude, something's
wait,
walking
that
around over there.
We're hearing stuff from all around, though.
Yeah, it's like we're being surrounded.
In the dark, things quickly fall apart. Members of the group clearly feel something make physical contact with him, even though nobody is close by. When they activate an EMF meter and a spirit box, unsettling responses come through as soon as their questions turn toward the hairy man.
All right, everybody else is looking at these other graves back there. I'm gonna go down to the river and see if I can capture anything on this thing. Oh, I heard something big down there, Lee. It's just hard to hear because of all the crickets.
Yo,
What the hell is
Whoa.
that?
right there, by the tree, over here.
Look.
You can see where the ripple's coming from.
Yeah, and the frog stopped.
Bigfoot!
What is that?
Oh, there's something behind me.
Oh, we gotta go.
What's going on? Oh, she's got his gun out.
They just busted through the tree line over here, and it was big. It was big.
Dude.
Make sure everybody's with us. Everybody here? Yep.
We need to get the hell out of here.
Let's leave.
All right.
So we're gonna start working our way up this trail.
Okay.
And I'm gonna stay in the front, and you guys just stay close to me.
All right.
So you heard it coming from this area here?
Busted right through there. It came.
And we heard like things breaking, like trees and shit.
Everybody, you still got everybody?
Yep.
Yo. Dude, there was something big out there. Like I can hear it. The only problem is we can't. Like I don't know if our audio picked up on any of it because it's so loud out there.
Yeah.
The crickets, the frogs, all of it.
Seconds later, a huge crashing sound rips through the brush, rushing directly toward the group. In pure panic, they flee from the forest as thick branches snap behind them, the noise chasing them until they finally make it out. The pattern points to intention, something responding, not hiding. Were they investigating the woods or crossing into a place they were never supposed to enter? Late one night, a woman checking her trail camera footage spotted something unusual. A dark form standing completely still, looking as if it were covered by a long black cloak. The image quickly circulated on Facebook, drawing many reactions. Most viewers decided it was probably only a tree creating an optical illusion, though some still wonder whether the camera captured something else. While walking down a forest trail, a hiker paused to take photos of some strange-looking plants. At the time, everything seemed completely normal. But later, while looking through the pictures, he spotted something unsettling, a small figure resembling a child standing alone on a bridge. Although he was open to paranormal explanations, he tried to search for a rational answer. Still, something felt wrong. The red and blue colors on the figure did not match anything he remembered seeing there. Nothing in that area should have created those colors, at least nothing he could see. While walking along the Appalachian Trail in North Carolina, a woman stopped to capture the morning fog and sunrise. At the time, everything appeared completely normal. But later when she checked the photo, she noticed something unsettling, a faint figure standing on the trail within the mist. She insists nobody was ahead of her, and the path had been entirely quiet. So what exactly was out there that morning? A thermal camera placed in the forest captured a Bigfoot-like creature concealed behind a tree. The figure seems to be about 7 to 8 feet tall, covered in dark hair, yet moving with a posture and behavior that appear oddly human. Its identity and exact location are still unknown, leaving the sighting unresolved. Although skeptics doubt the claim, the footage continues attracting attention and fueling debate over whether it is authentic or simply an elaborate hoax. Lomar, a solo paranormal investigator with Paranormal Discovery, headed out with his dog Kia to look into recent Bigfoot reports near the abandoned Uniaqui gold mine.
Feel really weird though, like really weird. It's like something's watching already. Something weird.
The moment he stepped into the area, he felt a sudden discomfort, as though something hidden was already watching him. The place felt off.
What is that? Yo, that's a car seat. Yo, there's a bunch of car parts. Coaches over there. Man, all of the parts are just...
As he moved through the thick forest, the uneasy sensation kept building. Before long, he noticed abandoned objects, car seats, scattered vehicle pieces, and old furniture left in strange conditions.
All right, so we got our first clue. That could be natural, but you never know in this world. Why are these all in such weird conditions? Just a bunch of weirdness. Like even back there, some of the trees are chewed up. Yo, look at the destruction here. Whoa. Again, if you guys have seen our Bigfoot series, man, in between trees, it's so odd how it does that. It's weird how, like the majority like this, jammed in between two trees, ripped completely out of the ground. Look at that.
The farther he traveled, the more unusual everything seemed. He pointed to what he thought could be his first clue, explaining that although it might have a natural cause, it did not feel completely ordinary. Several trees appeared chewed, broken apart, or forced unnaturally between others, with some torn straight from the ground. The damage reminded him of scenes from previous Bigfoot investigations.
I think this is where we're gonna set up camp for the night. We're not gonna stay the full night, but maybe make a bonfire. It's weird, I'm hearing like off-roading vehicles, ATVs, I think, but no one's coming up. It's kind of weird.
Eventually, he came to a clearing and used it as a temporary stopping point, intending to make a small campfire, even though he had no plan to remain overnight. While he was there, he heard a distant sound that reminded him of off-road vehicles, despite there being no one nearby.
Please be careful here.
Please be careful here. Okay. I don't know what this feeling is. It's crazy. Like it just got intense. Like either an animal's with us, like a bear or a coyote, or it's a Sasquatch. Like straight up, like I'm not joking, like yeah. My emotions are starting to run high. I'm starting to feel like something here is getting hostile. Kia's been sitting down, looking into random parts of the forest. Trippy, to be honest. I'm starting to think that this is not an area that happened at. I just have it in my gut. Something here occasionally comes, and this is its habitat. I don't know, it could be a bear for all I know, but something does come here. It's giving me that.
After starting the fire, he switched on his spirit box and an unsettling voice came through the static, making him feel even more urgent. His fear increased as the atmosphere suddenly became heavier. He sensed that either a large animal, possibly a bear or coyote, or something like a Sasquatch could be close. The tension made him think the area did not seem naturally created and that something might use it as territory. Deep down, he felt that whatever passed through from time to time might still be nearby.
I keep hearing something in here. Now keep in mind, I don't think I'm gonna film the whole way out, but I might keep it recording just so it can document anything that could possibly happen. Hello? What the? Yo, it's creepy as hell, man. Someone over here? Or something? don't want to leave Key for too long. But something is. Something's here. Something is legitimately in front of me. I just can't see it, but I can hear it.
As he headed back out, more strange signs appeared around the site, strengthening his belief that something or someone was watching him. He kept hearing noises from the forest and left his camera recording in case anything happened.
There's a weird set of eyes. Yeah. Hello? See that? It's glowing. I'm zoomed in the max that it can go. It's straight up glowing.
Passing old rusted car wreckage deep in the woods, he noticed something unusual, a pair of shining eyes reflecting from the darkness. He zoomed in as much as his camera allowed and clearly saw the glow itself. Fortunately, both Lomar and Kia made it back to their vehicle without any incident. Luke is an outdoor adventurer whose YouTube channel centers on testing camping gear and demonstrating that equipment on wilderness trips. His videos are normally calm and cinematic, but this outing developed a different tone. He traveled far into a remote forest far from any sign of civilization, hoping for a tougher backcountry experience.
This is the third week straight of solid rain. There's water literally dripping from everything at the moment. What I need to do first is figure out exactly where I'm going to stay tonight. I have a tarp set up for this trip. I'm thinking this tree to this tree, with the tarp going this way. The ground here is somewhat level, more so than anything else. It's not perfect, but it will certainly do. This area here is a perfect example of real-world off-trail camping. This is what it's like. Nothing's flat, nothing's even. There's roots and rocks all over the place. This is what you will have to contend with if you want to do what I do. Off-trail, out in the middle of nowhere, what you need to get accustomed to is being satisfied with imperfect conditions. You may not have the best campsite out there, but take a look around. While certain areas suffer, other areas shine. And that is certainly true with this area.
After weeks of non-stop rain moisture covered everything dripping from branches and saturating the ground, his first task was to choose a place to spend the night. He planned to use a tarp and thought about tying it between two trees where the ground, though uneven, was usable enough. The location was a true example of off-trail camping, no level ground, exposed stones and roots everywhere. Anyone trying to camp far from other people had to accept imperfect conditions. Some spots were difficult while others had benefits, and this camp captured that balance well.
Good times. They are a pain to get going though. I've had to light these, relight, light again. But now they're finally taking off. I could have swore I heard something walking through the woods. Something big enough to break branches and whatnot. There are black bear up here, but that would be highly irregular for them to come this close to camp. I definitely heard something though. I just don't know what.
After choosing the location, he built his shelter and prepared food. Once the sun disappeared behind the trees, his small tarp setup became the only light source for miles, a faint glow in the vast forest darkness. After eating, he started a small fire, though the soaked wood made it hard to keep the flames going. It took several attempts before the fire finally caught. While tending it, he heard a noise from the woods, heavy, careful footsteps that sounded too large for smaller animals. The movement was strong enough to snap branches as something passed through the forest. Black bears were known to live in the region, but it was uncommon for them to move so close to a camp. He could not identify the source and briefly considered whether something like Bigfoot might be involved, though he had no proof. The uncertainty stayed with him, but little could be done. He tried to focus on getting through the night even as the noises returned now and then, always distant but hard to ignore. Eventually, he went to sleep, staying half alert in case the sound came back. Morning arrived without anything happening, yet he remained puzzled about what had been near his camp. Whether it was a deer, a bear, or even something similar to a Sasquatch, he could not say. At the same time, Ian, the creator behind Midwest Ghost Hunter, entered the unsettling Appalachian woods to record a ghost hunting episode.
Storm has passed. It should be a clear night from here on out. I can definitely feel the electricity in the air right now. And here we are. Right when you walk in, there's the first mound. Man, walking through these woods, I feel like anything could just pop out at me right now. Like from anywhere. Bears, Bigfoot, ghosts, anything. Okay. I don't know if I'm going crazy. I thought I heard something behind me. Hello? Who's over there? I don't know, maybe I'm just paranoid. I don't know, I thought I heard something.
After a storm moved through the night became clear, leaving the forest quiet, but filled with tension. As he stepped into the woods, he felt exposed, as though anything from wildlife to something unexplained could appear without warning. While moving between the dark trees, he sensed something behind him. When he looked back, he saw nothing but the feeling of being watched remained. As the weather calmed, he kept moving deeper into the forest with his camera running.
All right. Okay, I don't know, man. Maybe I'm not going crazy. I don't know if I should try this, but I'm gonna try walking backwards because I want to see what's coming up behind me. Honestly, I don't even like walking backwards because I don't know what's ahead of me. Is there somebody out here with me? Oh my God! That scared me so bad. That was a straight up voice from thin air. It was as if somebody was standing like right there. My name is Ian. Could you tell me your name? Are you standing in this exact spot right here? Could you say something? You might not even understand me, that's the thing. I'm getting really chilled over here. I'm gonna walk up a little closer. I'm coming towards you. I mean you no harm. Oh my God! Holy! Oh my God, something just grabbed my shoulder. Holy moly. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to react that way. You just scared. I really don't know what kind of grab that was. I don't know if that was like a hey kind of grab or hey, like.
At one point, he tried walking backwards so he could watch whatever might be behind him, although that made him uncomfortable because he could no longer see what was ahead. Soon afterward, he heard a voice nearby, even though no one else was supposed to be in the area. The sound startled him, and he stopped trying to decide whether it had truly happened or only seemed real. He tried communicating with the unseen presence, identifying himself, and asking whether something was near him. The air felt colder as he carefully continued forward. Suddenly, he felt something grab his shoulder. The contact shocked him so strongly that he reacted on instinct before calming down. He could not tell whether the touch was meant as a warning or something different, but the physical feeling was clear.
Here's mound number 2. I'm actually not going to say anything this time. I'm actually just going to listen. things over here. It sounds like voices, but they're so Oh my god! Dude, that was a face! I just seen a face! That was a glowing face!
He continued through the woods hearing footsteps and faint voices despite knowing he was alone. When he reached another mound farther inside the forest, he stood quietly and listened closely. He heard more unclear sound tones that resembled voices, but were too quiet to understand. As he moved ahead, he saw something that frightened him badly, a glowing face appearing from the darkness. That brief sight was enough to make him leave the forest at once. Although he was unsure what he had encountered, the mixture of voices, footsteps, and physical contact left him deeply shaken. He could not dismiss the possibility that it was paranormal activity or something connected to Bigfoot. Both men entered the wilderness with different goals, one testing camping gear and the other looking for supernatural evidence, but each experienced moments that felt unnatural. Luke heard heavy footsteps near his campsite, sounds too large and purposeful to fit ordinary wildlife easily. Ian faced escalating events involving voices, footsteps, and a physical encounter that he could not explain. Both left with unanswered questions about what might live in remote places rarely visited by people. Whether it was wildlife spirits or something resembling Bigfoot, both were reminded that the wilderness can hold far more mysteries than anyone expects. A harvester recently recorded what they describe as clear Bigfoot evidence on camera. The footage shows a huge human-like figure dropping down from a tree at the edge of the forest. It rushes left, suddenly cuts right, and disappears back into the timberline. What makes the clip even stranger is that it happened well outside normal Bigfoot territory, raising uneasy questions about why it appeared in the open. A man in Maine was piloting his drone above a remote lake while looking for a fishing location when he captured something unexpected. Later, while reviewing the footage, he noticed a tall, dark figure walking upright near the tree line. Shocked, he returned the following morning to check the area but found no tracks and no sign of anything. The clip quickly spread online, with believers calling it possible Bigfoot evidence and skeptics saying it was merely someone in a costume. Whether a real encounter or a staged hoax, the footage still drew plenty of attention. In early 2024, a drone conducting a border patrol flight over Big Bend National Park, Texas, recorded something unsettling with its thermal camera. From above, the image showed a figure covered in bright shaggy fur with a distinct head and limbs. Experts who reviewed the frame could not explain it. The area is remote with no trails or visible human activity and linked to stories of a white Sasquatch or Yeti, making the encounter even more mysterious and to some possible Bigfoot evidence.